Let's begin.
It's October 7th, 2021. You know what that means. It is the end of Killer Animal Week and Day 7 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, Year 10. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to ask you very nicely to click subscribe and the bell to stay notified for any future videos I will be creating right here on this channel, and as well as leaving a like and comment, because that helps me get my channel and videos out there to a much broader audience. Like I mentioned, Killer Animal Week comes to an end with Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. I don't own it physically, but I own it digitally, but I have this prop as my kill. He used to sit in the background for a few of these videos, for a few of these years, and I've kind of since retired him, but I thought it'd be a good prop to kind of talk about this movie with, because he's just a bird prop. So, but anyways, I don't own it physically, but I did watch it in 4K, and this is a very probably unpopular opinion, but this movie was okay. I respect this movie for the special effects, what it was for back then, and I just thought the movie was okay. Overall, okay. I really liked how the movie began. You know, we got introduced to Tippi Hedren's character, kind of like lying, like she's constantly lying throughout this movie, and so she meets this guy who knows who she is because of a prank, or she was naked in a fountain or something like that, and so he kind of sees her, and like he's like knows that who she doesn't work there, so at like a pet store, and so he's like, what about this bird and this bird and this bird, and she's just lying, just digging herself a bigger hole. And then she's like, I really like him, and so he's like, I'm just going to like follow him up to where he lives, and up in this really cool harbor town, you know, like basically like city on the coast, and it's just like, oh, I love the locale, I love the look, I love everything about this movie, but just overall about this movie is just okay, because the bird sequences is sprinkled to it, when it comes to when the birds attack, it happens really late in the movie, and they don't happen as frequently as probably as it should. There's a lot of character development, there's a lot of lying, there's a lot of just people sitting around talking, and that's probably what I like. I love movies that have dialogue. I really do. I like Midsummer. I cannot wait to get to that later in the month, but that deserves all the dialogue. But this deserves needs to be done more. Has to have a little bit more of a horror element to it. People are just sitting around talking, and that's really all I have to say. I mean, even the ending, I like the ending. Just like them, like the way it ended, kind of very ambiguous, and like you never know what like what's the future going to hold for this particular world, what's happened, and it's just like, oh, I really like that. But it's just like the middle chunk of the movie just kind of really like, it's okay. But when the birds finally do start running amok and causing havoc and causing people to get caught on fire, and she's trapped in that phone booth, and she's watching all the carnage around her, and like, oh, that's so awesome. And then it slows down when they get to the house, and they realize that the birds have kind of found their way into this house. I love that as well, and it's just like, I wish there was more like that, but I understand you have to get through all that dialogue to kind of like build the suspense and get to know these characters and everything. And then some of the deaths in the movie really do hit a little bit hard, and the scene where the crows are sitting on all the school jungle gyms and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's a great shot. I mean, there's a lot in this movie that is so good, but just to me, overall, the movie's okay. It really is. I mean, I kind of found myself kind of zoning out, and I watched this wide awake. I was like, oh, I'm watching this. I'm sitting down to watch The Birds for basically the first time. I've seen the whole rain, the birds causing havoc scene plenty of times just by wanting to watch it through countdown lists and just generally watching it, But actually watching it from start to finish, it was just like it was okay. It was an okay movie. So ending Killer Animal Week with the birds in 4K, watching it in 4K was also cool. It's like, oh man, this movie has never looked better and stuff like that. I just really like the look of it, and it was okay. It just at the end when the final credit rolled at the end of the movie, it was okay. So, my rating for this movie is it's a horror classic by default, but to me, it's definitely I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a horror movie classic by default. So, just due to the fact that how well the special effects was, like the tension that it builds with later in the movie when the birds really do rain havoc, and everything like that, and it's Alfred Hitchcock right there. It kind of gives it that default asterisk. So that's really all I have to say about this movie. I do like Alfred Hitchcock movies. North by Northwest is my favorite one. I just watched Rear Window a couple months ago for the first time, and I absolutely loved that movie. I really did. So I do like his style of filmmaking. I love his storytelling. It's just this particular movie just didn't do nothing for me. Too much for me, I should say. And even though there were some scenes I truly did love, it's just overall it was okay. So that is really all I have to say about The Birds. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can really say is thank you.